can't talk about the locked laptop or case file lying on Mulder's bed, I guess we could just stand and have a manly chat.
I don't want that.
You may not, Skin Man, but the programmers seem to think the gamers do, so just get on with it!
How long have you known them?
4 years now. I've known Mulder longer than that. I guess it's been almost 6.
It would be helpful to know what case they were working on.
Hello? The case folder is so mattress not 20 feet away. You just bloody looked at it.
Yes. Yes, it would be helpful. Listen, I'd appreciate it if you didn't refer to them in the past tense.
Wow. Wasn't that an enthralling and helpful conversation that contributed absolutely nothing to this plot? Anybody see a pattern emerging here yet? Back we go for some more snarky banter with our unnamed motel receptionist.
What now?
To acquire Mulder and Scully's call log, which contains 2 numbers you're expected to call. The second is pointless, but annoyingly necessary to attempt calling because it just keeps ringing, and the only thing it's good for is putting into the ING back at the field office to get the next location on your PDA. The first one, though, well, the first one is really a matter of opinion as to whether it's worth the 5 minutes you waste trying to tap in the whole phone number. It's not pointless, but it doesn't really contribute anything, and if you don't know the X-Files characters, it'll go straight over your head.
Hello? Who is this?
Agent Wilmore, FBI. Who are you?
I asked you first.
Look, I work for the FBI.
Sure, okay. Why didn't you say so in the first place?
Personally, I like it, and would waste those 5 minutes more than once if I could, but it is admittedly far too short. After what feels like the longest time for the least payback, it's time to trundle on back to the FBI field office so that Skinner can briefly look over his notes in the conference room. Because I guess he's so high up in the ranks that he can't look at them in the simple confines of a rental car like normal agents. While we go and put those pesky phone numbers into the ING system, haphazardly dump, and I swear, I am not making this up, Scully's laptop on some random table. Trust me, I'll come back to that little gem of an issue later. And that's it! That's all we do here. But, as I said earlier, we have to look the phone numbers up, otherwise we can't progress any further. Though, at the moment, that doesn't really sound like such a bad thing. I would like to quickly point out this moment of randomness, though, that I didn't mention earlier, and that doesn't work far beyond the start of the game. You've got your pictures to look at and the computer to use in the office, but also on Wilmore's desk you have a sticky tape dispenser, which if you click on, does this. It's always made me sit and think, but it's so silly that I just can't help doing it every time I sit at the desk for as long as it works. If you thought there were a lot of other random moments in this game, this one, to me, is the best and most bizarrest of them all. I guess we better get back to the game though, because Skinner reminds us that we have to endure more searching for a bit longer, and then we're off to the warehouse from the teaser. Yep, we've been playing for 20 minutes and we're essentially right back at the start. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
It would be helpful to have some background on the case your agent was pursuing.
Wouldn't it? When I have some, I'll share it with you.
you've already said this. And two, why didn't you freaking pick up Mulder's case notes back at the motel? Heaven knows you were fast enough to swipe Scully's computer.
You can pretend you're not doing that.
Much like I've got to pretend I didn't just fart. Damn, I look good in this jacket.
Why don't you check out the main floor? I'm gonna take a look in there.
Of all the locations used. Sadly, that also means everything you need to find is more difficult to locate, but it does give you the opportunity to play with your almost useless flashlight and the difficult to decipher night vision goggles. Can you guess what it is yet? Here, we also get to use our evidence kit to collect a bullet from one of the posts because although all three men emptied their clips, this is the only one, besides the one in Scully, that hid anything. A sample of Scully's blood, which is magically still fresh and wet despite the fact wood is porous and the puddle's been there for a good few days. And then there's a cigarette butt that I never would have spotted or even thought to look for, which is stupid considering you can't proceed further in the game until you've collected it. Had I not had on the little hint icon up in the top right corner the first time I ever played. What's even more stupid about this piece of evidence, to which I use the term loosely, is I don't know if it's supposed to be an in-joke, which I'll touch upon later, or a teeny tiny clue to something that's revealed much later on. Either way, it doesn't seem worth lingering on though, because after leaving the warehouse, Wilmore takes the evidence he's collected to the crime lab, where the only thing we learn is...
No thanks, I'm trying to quit.
That's very funny.
Thank you. One Morley cigarette butt. I'll give it the once over.
And that's it. No DNA to be collected from any saliva that might be on the end. Nothing. What's the point collecting it in the first place? And if whoever was there at the time to oversee the clean-up of deradiated bodies, all shell cases from the fired weapons, the crates that Mulder and Scully left behind and other evidence, why were they careless, or rather considerate, enough to leave behind one stray bullet, blood and the end of their cigarette? You probably think I'm just being pedantic. After all, this is a game and why should I be looking for logic here when the idea is that stuff's there to help us develop through the plot. But I've not even gotten started on the fact that this is a crime scene, yet no CSIs have been called, the area hasn't been cordoned off, and neither Special Agent Craig Wilmore or Assistant Director Walter Skinner from the Federal Bureau of Investigation are wearing latex gloves!
What's the matter with you?
Do I really need to break out the tape?
Don't do that.